Greetings and welcome to today's Walk and Talk. And I have a question for you. Do you sometimes just feel like you're stuck in a rut or you're doing the same thing all the time or maybe you just feel like there's more out there that you want to explore, you just don't know what to do? Well, sometimes we have to look beyond the obvious and be creative and find other things. And I have been spending the last 5 days in Las Vegas, and I'm going to share with you a little bit about what's outside the obvious in Vegas. But before I do, I'm going to pause this video real quick, and I'm going to cut to another video and show you the view of where I am right now. I'm giving you a view from Willow Beach. This is about an hour outside of Las Vegas, between Kingman, Arizona and Las Vegas. There's a marina here and a river. The river water is not warm like it would be in Lake Mead, but it is very beautiful here. I've not been here before, and I'm enjoying the beauty, and I am glad I am here at a time of year when it's not blistering hot. It would be probably pretty chilly in the winter and blistering hot in the summer. So I'm here in September, and it's absolutely gorgeous. All right, isn't it super cool how in one fell swoop I can go from a viewpoint down to the edge of the water? So I will continue this walk and talk down here by the water. I am about ready to go kayaking. They're setting up the kayaks right over there, so I thought I would come on here and share a little bit about Vegas, a little bit about what's outside of Vegas, and just talk about looking outside the obvious, because that's so often what we do. Is we live a life in our comfort zone, the obvious things we know to do, the places we know to visit, the things that we've heard about someplace, and we just kind of stay stuck in that paradigm of what is obvious. And so today, not only do I want to talk a little bit about Vegas, but I want to share with you, like, how do you get outside of the routine, the mundane? And I'm going to share two different stories, one inside of my travel adventures and another one inside of business, for those of you who have that business mind. If you're new to my channel, my name is Debbie Morton. About 15 months ago, my husband passed away. And a few months after that, I decided I could either live home alone in a house that we had together, or I could sell absolutely everything. And basically everything I own right now fits in my car, or a tiny, tiny little storage unit. And I could travel the world and explore some different adventures. And so I decided to do that. It was about a year in planning, and there are videos on this page that will take you through all the steps I went to get to where I am right now. I'm new to YouTube, so if you're following me for the first time, if you find this entertaining, if you get value, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. It helps me out a lot. And it allows YouTube to share this video with other people like you who are getting value and entertained by some of my travel adventures and stories that I'll be sharing here. I want to talk about looking outside the obvious. Back when I used to start coming to Vegas, it was back in the early 80s, and Vegas was a very different place. There wasn't a lot to do outside of going to shows, gambling at the casinos, or eating cheap food. And people would think of Vegas as a really cheap vacation, and the reason is because there wasn't a whole lot to do. People went to the casinos and they spent a lot of money in the casinos. So it ended up, for most people, some people got lucky, but for most people it ended up not really being that cheap of a vacation. But Vegas was also very different back then. Even though the mafia didn't control Vegas in the 80s anymore, it was still that feel. I remember blackjack dealers talking about, big mafia members walking through the casino, or, all of a sudden somebody prominent disappears, and I remember all of those stories. If you were on the wrong side of the mafia, it wasn't necessarily a safe place for you, but for tourists, the mafia kept it very, very clean and neat and safe. And I remember walking around never giving a thought to my safety here in Vegas. Now I still feel safe. There is just a whack ton of police presence. The clientele is different, and I'm very conscientious of where I am, where I'm walking, who's around me. It is a little bit different place inside of that. There's so much more to do. So it's not just shows, gambling, and food. It's now lots of different attractions. It's amusement rides. There's something for everybody here in Vegas. But even then, we still think of Vegas as the downtown area or the Strip. And put in the comments if you've ever been here or if this is a place that you want to go to. I hear people speaking in foreign languages and I'm thinking they've saved up their whole life for a trip to this place, and I just take it for granted because I've been coming here for 20 years. And so drop in the comment if you've ever been here, what you like to do when you're here. But I want to talk about what's outside the obvious. About 10 years ago, I started thinking it was getting much more pricey in Vegas, and I started thinking, what are some other things that I can do here in Vegas? And there's so much. This is a river. It's Willow Beach. This is a river. Again, I'm going to go kayaking. I went out on a boat on Lake Mead a few days ago, and I've been out on Lake Mead several times. That's about an hour outside of Vegas. There's a Red Rock National Park, Red Rock National Park. It's like a 13-mile scenic drive and lots of hiking trails off of that. There's beautiful mountains all around Vegas that you can go hiking in. There is a ton of stuff to do that really doesn't get advertised as much because when we think of Vegas, we think of the obvious, right? But just know that there is so much more to do than just what's available inside of the casinos here. And the reason I wanted to share that is there's also so much more than the obvious inside of our life, whether it's our life or our business. Sometimes we just get caught in that comfort zone. And the way to move outside of that comfort zone, the way to experience some additional adventure is to ask the question, how can I be entertained here outside of the obvious? What is there to do? Just ask questions. What are the opportunities that exist? We've got access to Google and Siri and all these different things that can give us some different ideas, but sometimes we just don't think to ask, or we don't know the right questions to ask. And so that applies whether you're thinking of coming to a tourist location and you don't just want to be caught in the tourist attractions, you want to explore outside. Be sure you ask the question like, what are the uncommon things to do in this area? What do the locals do in this area? And start to ask some different questions. And inside of business, we all grow up going to school, and our teachers tell us, get your degree, go to college, be trained in something, get a job, work 40 years. And that's the obvious path that almost everybody takes. But it's not the path that super successful entrepreneurs will take. And there's nothing wrong with having a job. Some people like that security. They like the feeling, and they love their job. Some people like that, and that's absolutely amazing. But I often hear of people, they hate their job, they want to do more, they're not sure what to do. And so again, we're stuck in that obvious. About 25 years ago for me, I was in corporate America. And I just decided this isn't what I want to do. I want more. I think I'm worth more. I think I can bring value in other ways. And so I started asking the question, what else can I do besides working in corporate America? How can I have a business? What would that look like? And I just started asking those questions and researching. So for me, I bought, over the course of my adult years, I had bought 2 different brick and mortar businesses. One of them was a metal finishing shop. The other one was a home care company. And with each of those businesses, what I found is I basically just bought a job. I traded my 40-hour work week for about a 100-hour work week. And I worked way harder. And although there was the potential for more money, and in some cases I did earn more money than I did in corporate America, it was also, I realized, not the right fit for me also, right? So sometimes the obvious thing to do when you're stuck in a corporate job, that obvious thing would be, I'm just gonna get a business or start a business with my expertise or my passion or my hobby. For me, I didn't want to have a brick and mortar business anymore, and so I started looking for ways that I could earn income online, and that's one of the things that I love sharing. It's like looking outside of the obvious. What is it that we can be doing that allows us to have the freedom that you want, to have the ability to travel anywhere, to explore different places. So whether you're vacationing somewhere and you want to do stuff that's outside the obvious of what that vacation location is, or you're in life and you feel stuck, start asking the questions, what more can I do? How can I get out of this routine that I'm in, the obvious that I'm in? Let me see. This is the beauty of my walk and talks. You just never know. I get eaten by a bunch of flies when I'm under this overhang, and I'm also in a kind of a populated place. But anyways, I just wanted to share that with you because sometimes we accept mundane because it's comfortable for us. So I encourage you, start asking the questions to get yourself out of the mundane, whether it's in your everyday life, whether it is in business, whether it is in vacations that you take or restaurants that you visit, whatever it is that you'd like to explore a little adventure. Just start to ask different questions, start to research different things, and there is so much available to you outside of the obvious. And so I hope that you've enjoyed this. Again, I'm here every week. If you like my content, the value that I provide, the travels, I'd love to have you along on my journey. And I ask you again, please hit that subscribe button. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. So hit that subscribe button, and you can also subscribe to my newsletter. It is down in the description. And inside of that newsletter, I'll also share a little bit more information about how I'm able to live this lifestyle, how I'm able to travel the world, how I'm able to, see some different things, some different products that I use. I'll just share with you some of the different things that have helped me in my journeys, and I'll share those with you as well. And some behind the scenes stuff. I don't share everything on social media, so there's some behind the scenes things when I travel that I'll share inside my newsletter. So I love having you along on this journey with me. Have an absolutely wonderful day. I'll see you next week. And if you want to see the journey leading up to this, there are some videos all around this YouTube channel, and you can click on those videos and you can kind of see my journey when I was still living in Phoenix and preparing for this lifestyle on the road that I've now been enjoying for 4 months, and I have no idea how long it will continue, but I'm absolutely loving it and loving having you along on this adventure. Have a great day. Bye-bye.